So welcome to episode 1, the pruning season. Or better yet, dying to self. I gave myself to Christ 3 years ago, but it wasn't until after baptism where my life changed. Let's go. Oh Lord, is this thing on? It has been so long since I've been on social media. In April, I decided to, I did not decide nothing. Sorry, Lord. Let's tell them the truth. The Lord had dropped into my spirit that it was time for me to come up off of social media completely. And there is a very, very, very important reason why. I spent my whole entire life chasing success because I have felt so unworthy of living here on this earth if I am not being productive. And I think that's because throughout my whole entire life, I've never felt that I was enough, you know? So to prove to not only myself, but my family, some of the key people that used to tell me that I wasn't going to be anything and I wasn't going to amount to anything and that everything I've done was wrong. I developed this idolatry of success to become everything that they didn't think that I was going to become. And for me, the only way that I feel like I am worthy or that I am someone is if I'm doing something. And that has taken me to a place of exhaustion. Okay? A lot of people look up to me because they think that, you know, I am so driven, that I'm so organized. You know, being a nurse, being a mom, a content creator, a trainer, all of these things were really just a facade to hide the deep feelings that I have of inadequacy of who I am. And the Lord really had to do a work in me. And it's not that I didn't know this prior to this year. I'm 31, and this year 31 has been such a pivotal year for me. This is the first year that I decided to not give myself to others, give myself to success, but to give myself to the Lord truly. And He has put on my spirit that it was time for me to take a seat, Steph. And I've never taken a seat in my life, ever. I have put the pedal to the metal since I was about 18 years old, pedal to the metal, because I got pregnant at 18 with my son. And I said that I would never, ever allow him to have the childhood that I had, that I would never allow him to feel like what it feels like to want, right? And I use that to drive me into achieving the things that I have achieved in my life. But I've never taken a moment to take a step back. I've never taken a moment to enjoy life. I've never taken a moment to really pour into myself. This year, 31, I thought that it was going to be the biggest year of achievement for me, that things were really going to start to take off. And it was. When I came up of social media, there were so many things working out for me. I just hit 100,000 on YouTube. My Instagram was really picking up. Not only that, off of social media, my business was growing. I was doing boot camps, successful boot camps. I was working on a big project with a company to launch a new project. So many things was happening. But in those so many things happening, I felt a level of despair that I've never felt before. A level of sadness that I've never felt before. I was so empty. And that's just so crazy to me because I was really going harder with the Lord at that time. But I realized that there was so much more required of me than me being successful in the fitness industry, me being successful on social media. But I didn't know how to let go of that. So I believe he put so much turmoil within my business, within my creativity, within me achieving anything else, because he wanted more of me. So it leads me here. I had to get stripped of all the things that I thought that was important in this life. One of the main things that I realized is that I was seeking the hand of God, what he can do for me, the blessings he can give for me, what could happen if I poured myself into him, what he can give back. But I never sought the heart of God, who he is, what he has done for me, how he has protected me, the mercy that he has shown on my life. I was taking that for granted because I felt like the more I put into God, the only way that I can truly tell if he was really working in my life is by the things that he could give me. And because of that, my life started to really just like, everything that I thought that was true, everything I thought that was real started getting ripped apart from me. And I no longer resonated with who I am, who I thought I was. I no longer resonated with none of that. And at that point, I had to give up. I had to give myself up. I had to give myself to God. I had to give myself to the Lord. I had to put my all into him. One of the main things that I realize is a lot of us are not willing to sacrifice who we think we are to align ourselves with God's will. That was me. Dying to self is a process that nobody wants to go through. Most of us don't want to do the work to actually become who we were already predestined to become since before we were formed. A lot of who I thought I was, after fully surrendering myself to Christ, I am no longer that girl. And right now, I'm in that process of redefining who I am, allowing God to prune me into who I was intended to become. So, he has put on my heart to drop this series. I don't know how many parts it's going to be, but what I do know is that at the end of this series, at the end of this journey, I'm going to finally step in to the woman who God has already called me to be. And I hope that through this series, you will also answer the call to who God is calling you to be. So welcome to episode 1, the pruning season. Let's go. You need to be who you think you are, completely, authentically to yourself. Ugh. I don't want to make this video long, guys. It's been a very long time since I have been on YouTube. And by the time I post this video, I don't know where I'll be. I don't know what year it's going to be. I don't know what month it's going to be. But now we are in September of 2024. And I've been off of social media since April of 2024. So welcome to episode 1 of the Redefining series. Allowing God to transform me and change me in His timing. First off, I just want to introduce myself. I know there's a lot of people that probably don't know who I am. My name is Stephanie, guys, Stephanie Victor. I have been off of social media for quite some time. And if you're seeing this video, this is probably the first video that you're going to see on my page because I've deleted everything, right? God has asked me to come off of social media since April. And throughout this month's process, I really thought that I was doing the Lord's work by just being off. But recently, last week, He told me to completely deactivate my Instagram, completely deactivate my TikTok. And I know the people who have come to this YouTube page, you probably know me from Instagram and TikTok and then YouTube. But as you can see, if you go on my page, there's going to be no YouTube videos, no reels, no anything for you to have some context about what I do. Prior to this season of literally dying, and I'm not talking about like figuratively, I'm not talking about like the physical act of dying to self, allowing Christ to transform me into whatever His will is for my life right now. And if you've been here, you guys know how hard that is, because I have been on social media for 10 years and I have been on this walk for quite some time. You know, I put a lot of work into developing the person that I thought that I was. But for the past few weeks, I've been feeling a lot of anxiety, a lot of pressure to show up better than I was when I come back on social media. So I was going to take a break, you know, allow God to speak to me, find a direction of where I was supposed to go with these platforms. But He was like, it's time for you to deactivate all of that. The Stephanie that you were before is not who you are now. And the minute that you don't die to that girl that you thought you were supposed to become, I can't do a work in you. I can't do a work in you. Because there's idolatry of the person that you thought you were. And I'm trying to bring you here, but you're still there. And even in making this video, it's been 6 weeks between the intro of that video to me recording this, because as much content as I was making for this series, I was trying to entertain you guys instead of speak to you guys about what's been going on. So I had different scenes and different cuts and I was like, oh, I want to make it cinematic. I want to make it good. I want to make this content good, you know? But I was taking out from what was more important that the Lord was putting into my heart. And that's just to speak to you guys. Guys, this process has been the hardest process of my life. Dying to the girl that I thought that I was supposed to be, that fitness content creator, the popular influencer, just always trying to be better than I am. And there's nothing bad about trying to elevate yourself and, you know, be a better person every day. But I was trying to one-up myself. Like, the person that I wasn't good enough. So after baptism, man, the Lord was like, He was like, it's time to take all of that out of you. None of that stuff matters. Content creation does not matter. Influencing doesn't matter. The things that you thought are important really doesn't matter at this time. There was a work that needed to be done in me, and it could not be done if I was running that rat race of trying to be successful. Putting success on top of God. Actually using the Lord as a platform, as a stepping stone to get to where I wanted to go. Because nobody told me to do all of this. I was training clients every day, running a whole entire fitness app, trying to be the best mom of two that I could be to my kids, working as a nurse full time, and then trying to run a whole bunch of side hustles. And it's not that I even needed the money. It's because I was trying to prove to myself that I was worthy of just breathing, of breath. I said, Lord, there's so many gifts that you have given me, and I need to go spread it out and make everybody else happy and be successful for me to feel like I'm enough. That's so crazy to me. There were so many people looking up to me like, wow, Steph, you're doing so much things. This is so great. You're so amazing. And the more that I did, the more unhappy I was. I was so unhappy with me. I was so unhappy with me at my core foundations. I wasn't giving enough time to build a relationship, a deeper relationship with God. I wasn't taking enough time to build relationships with other people around me, because all that I cared about was being successful and getting to that bag. So there was a death that had to happen in who I was. And God had to really humble me in the spirit, humble me in the world, humble me to bring me here right now. And that's on my knees. I don't know who I am. I don't know what it is that the Lord wants to do. And I know a lot of people talk about purpose. They talk about, your divine purpose and doing what is the will of the will of the Lord, But a lot of people are just using God as a placemat so that they can go and do the things that they want to do. There's this season of consecration that had to happen within me. This season of just sitting at the feet of the Lord, sitting at the feet of God and asking him, like, Lord, what do you want me to do? What is the most important thing right now that needs to be done? And he's like, to sit with me, to be with me. I need you to go harder in prayer. I need you to go harder in my word. I need you to learn, to not just learn, but know me. I need you to know me. What I realized in this few months of just being still, that I didn't really have a fear of the Lord in me. And that's why I was allowing certain things to happen in my life. I was allowing certain characteristics to sit with me. I was allowing myself to be super prideful, boisterous. And I know people don't see that, but confidence in the things that I was doing. And for the world, that's okay, because it's cool to be confident and successful and to know who you are. But not when you put that above everything. There was a piece in me that felt like, low-key, I thought that I was better than other people because I was doing all of these things to help others. I know that sounds crazy, but I felt that way. But in all of the things I was accomplished, I was so sad. I hated everything that I was doing. I felt there was no pleasure in anything that I was doing. So in this period, before I decided to delete social media and get off of the platforms and really get on my knees and just pour myself out to God, there was so much turmoil, as I was saying in the intro. And I just hated me. I was like, Lord, change my heart. I am nothing without you. I can't do anything without you. There is this gap, that was this big hole that I've always felt. And filling it up with the things of this world was just not enough no more. It's not. And I'm not talking to you from a place of being out of it, because I'm still in it. The most painful time in my life that I've ever experienced, man. I have been isolating myself, which that's not what the Lord was calling me to do. I'm happy that there are people, friends of mine that are on the same walk that I can confide in, but there's just so much change that's happening in my life, and I feel like I couldn't keep up to it anymore. So this is episode 1, just a little synopsis of what's been going on with me. I really want to take the time to get to know who I am. I really want to be vulnerable with you guys in this moment, because I know when I come back, people are going to be like, so what's going on, Steph? What are you going to do? Are you still in fitness? Are you still working out? Those are the questions I get asked all the time. Are you still working out? Are you still in fitness? Are you still like training? Like, what are you doing? And I don't know what I'm doing. Fitness is a passion for me. I feel like God has put this in my hand as a form of ministry. But I can't do that if I'm in front of it, you know? So I had to let God step in front of me and order my steps in a way that when I do come back onto these platforms, when I do start to move in the area that I feel like God has ordained for me, opened the door for me, that you can see his glory in it. But I felt like when I left, you couldn't see that, because I was just doing it because there was a hole that needed to be filled in me. There's this scripture that has been like sitting with me, and it's John 15:2, and it says, every branch in me that does not bear fruit, he cuts away, and every branch that does not bear fruit, he prunes, so that it will bear more fruit. You understand that? It says, every branch in me that does not bear fruit, he cuts away. And every branch that does not bear fruit, he prunes, so that it will bear more fruit. And I've been literally thinking about this scripture for like months, because I really thought that there was something wrong with me. That like, I'm like, Lord, why is everything getting taken away? Was I doing everything wrong? And he was like, for me to do a work in you, I have to cut all of those things that are not of me to allow more roots to grow. But the foundation needs to be holy. The foundation needs to be in me. And if it is not in me, then they're gonna fall. So what do you want? I said, I want you. So uncomfortable. So uncomfortable, man. So uncomfortable. It's so uncomfortable. But there's been things that I've been focusing on. Number one is my kids. Every time I speak to people that don't understand things of like, that don't really understand what it's like to walk with God, no offense, there's certain people that are just not there yet, and that's okay. They're always saying, Steph, you could do all these things. You just need to find balance. You need to find balance. And I'm like, if you think about the word balance, there's really no such thing as balance. Wherever you're putting in more energy, you're lacking somewhere else. And I felt like me trying to be so good at everything, be good in be a great nurse, be a great trainer, be a great content creator, be a great mom. Like, although my kids were there, there was just a level, there was just more that I needed to get, like, do for them, more than I wanted to pour into them. And the Lord's like, the most important job that you have right now is being a mom. That is the most important job, is being a mom. So as you take yourself through getting closer with me, I need you to bring your kids into it as well too. I need you to show your kids who I am. Pray with your kids more. Pray over your kids more. Read the word with your kids. Bring them into a body of Christ. Set them on firm foundations so that they will be equipped to go through the things that life are going to throw that life will throw at them, unlike you were. There's a reason for everything. But I really wanted to pour more time into my children. And I know that's like way left field, but he just dropped it into my spirit because it's so important. I'm 31 years old, guys. Us as millennials, especially millennial parents, moms or dads, there's just so much noise and distractions. You have social media, you have work, you have so many distractions that our kids are suffering. Our kids are literally suffering. So all of us are running to the bag, right? We're trying to better ourselves. And then we throw our kids on these tablets. We throw our kids to other people for us to run around and do the things that we think that we need to do when our kids are suffering. And again, I put so much into being a mom even prior to this. But I just wanted to like give all myself to my children, my faith, and the things that I have to deal with on like the most foundational levels, you know? So I just been taking my time, guys. I hope I didn't like blab your ears away. There's going to be little episodes. So I know I didn't say much, but I want to build up on this series. I want you guys to get to know, and I want to get to know myself too, as you guys get to know who I am at my core right now, but I don't know what's going on. But I'm walking with the Lord. I'm allowing him to like just change my direction in whatever way that is. I will take that. So yeah, guys, if there's anybody that's in a season that you don't understand what the Lord is doing, nothing is going your way, everything is falling, you might be on the right path. Allow God to do a work in you. Allow him to transform you. And it's not going to happen overnight, and it might not happen in a few months, and it might not happen in a few years. It might not. But you have to trust in the Lord and allow him to guide your path. Allow him to change who you are so that you will have a better foundation in the time to come. All right? I got to go. I do have to work out, and I have work tonight. So I'm going to go and do a little workout, eat something, take a nap, prepare myself to go to work and deliver some babies. I'm in a good mood. The spirit is moving. And yeah, I love you guys. I'll see you guys back for episode 2. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you want to hear more, if you want to take yourself along with me in this journey. I would be so happy. All right. So yeah. See y'all later.